Hi there, I'm Heather Ackman, and I'm going to take you through how to register your Transcender products. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Transcender is dedicated to helping IT professionals prepare for those tough certification exams by offering the highest quality exam preparation products and tools. And we at TrainSignal have partnered with Transcender to provide you with the best possible exam preparation. In this video, I'll show you what you need before getting started with registering your product. Then I'll show you step by step how to set up your own account, how to redeem your registration codes, and how to install the application and files. So to begin, there are a few things that you'll need in order to register. First off, you should have received a slip of paper titled Registering Your Transcender Products, which came with your package inside an envelope that looks a lot like this, warning you to not throw it away because on that slip of paper is a really long registration code that you'll need in order to register. You'll also need, this is a very important one, Internet Explorer. The download page doesn't exactly quite work right with other internet browsers, so make sure you have Internet Explorer installed and working properly. And you'll also need to know the exam number that you plan on taking or just studying for. Now, once you have all of your information handy to set up your account, all you've got to do is open up Internet Explorer and go to www.transcender, that's transcender.com/club. Once you're on that page, you should see a screen that looks a lot like this picture that I have over to the right. At the bottom of the page, you should see a section titled Join the Club with a Join button. All you've got to do, click that Join button. Let's go ahead and do that right now and open up Internet Explorer. So in the address bar at the top of your internet browser, go ahead and type www.transcender.com/club and then press enter. And this is what the Transcender website looks like. Now, I should say at this point, if you've already taken practice exams through Transcender, you probably already have an account and their software tool already downloaded on your computer. If that's the case, then you don't really need to click this join button again. All you've got to do is sign in with your email address and password off to the right. So if you already have a Transcender account, just sort of ignore the next couple of minutes of me explaining how to join the club. But if you're brand new to Transcender, go ahead and click on that join button. And to join the Transcender Club, type in your email address right here. I'm just going to type in TrainSignal test taker at gmail.com and then click join. And that should take you to a screen that looks a lot like this. Scrolling down, it's going to ask you for some basic information. Your title, your first name, last name. Email address should already be entered for you. It's also going to require that you enter your state or province. I'm in Illinois, and my zip code, 60005. And then it's going to ask you for a password. I'm just going to type mine in right here. And then confirm it, retype it one more time. And then down below, you have the option to sign up for product release notification, which gives you the opportunity to tell them which products you want to know about. You could also ask for general product information, discounts and promotions, or surveys. I'm going to leave all of mine unchecked and then click join. And that will take you into your private area of the Transcender Club, and you should have that welcome message above. Now, after you reach this screen, if you want to register a particular product, here's where you're going to need your registration code in order to download the test prep materials. In order to register your code, you should see an area that says Club Account and Enter Registration Code. So inside your browser window, here's that section right off to the left. Go ahead and click Enter Registration Code. And scrolling down, this is where you'd enter that freakishly long registration code. And once you've typed that in, go ahead and click Add Now. You should then come to a screen that looks like this. There's the registration code, and this screen simply tells you this registration code is valid for multiple products. So even though you've purchased one particular video, if you didn't want to study or take the test associated with that video, you don't have to. You can choose from any of these exams. And there's a lot to choose from. So that gives you a little bit more freedom depending on what your testing needs are. I'm just going to choose this very first one and then click Add Now. Once you click Add Now, you will be met with a prompt screen. Are you sure you choose to redeem this registration code for CERT 1Z0001? Once you choose a product for this registration code, it cannot be exchanged. So once you use it, the code is pretty much worthless. You can't use it again to download something else. You can't call them and exchange them for something else. That's the test that you've got. So I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. And once you've redeemed that code for a test, it should take you to a screen that gives you the test name and then 2 steps. And step 1, download Transcender Engine. All that is the quiz application. If you've ever downloaded a Transcender exam before, you won't have to keep downloading this particular application. Once you install it once, it's on your computer, you're done. I have not downloaded it, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose download. Now, as far as the download method, you could choose either FTP or HTTP. I'm just going to choose FTP and download. And you should then receive the standard file download security warning. I'm going to choose to save this. And I'm going to make sure it's going to download directly to my desktop so I can find it easily. File name should state transcenderengine.exe. Save as type application, then go ahead, click Save. After it's downloaded, you should see a download complete window. Once it's downloaded, you can either run, choose to open the folder, or just close this window. I'm going to go ahead and close this window and download the next thing I want, which is the actual exam file that's going to run inside my Transcender engine. So download exam file, I'm going to choose download and save that to my desktop as well and save. And that should download a little bit faster than the application. Once we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and close and minimize my Explorer window. And there are the 2 files that we've downloaded directly to our desktop. To install the application and test files, step number 1 is to find the files that you've downloaded from the website. After that, if you've never installed the Transcender quiz application, you will need to install that before installing the quiz file. And since I have never installed the Transcender quiz application, that's going to be what I'm going to be doing first. To install that quiz application, go to your desktop and double-click right on top of that transcenderengine.exe file. And that should open up one of, well, possibly many security warnings, especially if you're running Vista. So I'm just going to choose Run and then Allow. And that should open up your Transcender test engine. The very first screen gives you a little welcome message along with a couple of warnings. It's your standard startup screen. Let's go ahead and click Next. Next screen tells us Cetus will install the Transcender test engine in the following folder. If you want to change the location of that folder, you can choose Browse and then pick what folder you want to save it to. I'm just going to accept the default here and then click Next. Now, this installation program can create backup copies of all the files replaced during the installation. These files will be used when the software is uninstalled and a rollback is requested. If backup copies are not created, you will only be able to uninstall the software and not roll the system back to a previous state. This is optional. If you would like to, I'm just going to choose Yes and then click Next. And then it should tell you you're now ready to install the Transcender test engine. Click Next to begin that process. And actually is going fairly quickly. You might be prompted with a few questions like this one. Would you like to create a shortcut on your desktop to the Transcender test engine? And I'm sure, why not? And at the very end, you should see a screen that looks exactly like this. The Transcender test engine has been successfully installed. Press Finish. And then that'll exit the installation for you. And here's our shortcut. And that's installing the application file. Now, the next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and just open that up just to see what it looks like. And we're going to allow. Now, when you open it up for the first time, if you don't have any tests installed, you will receive this message. You have no tests installed. Please install the test you purchased and then start the Transcender test engine. Okay, that means you cannot run this without a test file. So let's go ahead and double click on that. Just like before, we're going to run and allow. And then that'll start the installation process for your exam cert. You should receive a window that looks very, very similar to what we saw before with the application. Just like before, let's go click Next. It's going to ask you to agree to the license information. Make sure you read through that. Check the box to signify that you have read, understood, and consented to the license agreement. So read carefully. And then click Next. Then it tells you are now ready to install the exam. Go ahead, click Next. And then Finish. Now at the very end of that wizard, you do have the option to go ahead and start the Transcender test engine now and use your practice exam. Let's go ahead and click Yes. And then the application will launch with your test. The very first screen in your practice exam will ask you to create a profile. So for that, go ahead, type in your name and your email, and it should be the same email that you used for transcender.com. And I believe mine was trainsignaltesttaker@gmail.com. Enter a password. Any old password will do as long as you remember it. And then you can ask it to auto log into this profile. So yes, make sure that's checked, create profile. And this is your basic practice exam screen. When you only have one exam installed, it'll appear right up here, just like this. If you download additional tests or practice exams, they'll appear below it, kind of almost in a spreadsheet-like view. To start an exam, all you've got to do is click the Start button off to the right. In which case, if you've never activated your product before, you will have to do that. Go ahead, click OK to activate the test. And we're just going to choose Automated Activation since we have a live internet connection. So with that chosen, go ahead, click Next, and then log in. Once you've logged in, it'll ask you which products you want to activate. It should already have our test selected, and then click Activate Now. And once it's connected to the internet and received information back, you should receive this message. Your products are now activated and available for use. Let's go ahead, click OK. And now let's try to start the exam. And you have several tools for any given exam. There is the Optimize Exam Experience button, which allows you to configure your practice exam to suit your individual study needs. You can select items by exam objective, set study preferences, and control how answers are accessed. You also have the preset exam experience, which provides a practice exam that is timed and functions to approximate the real exam environment. So this is as close to what you're going to get. They also have an additional tool called Transcender Flash, which is almost a flashcard file format, which allows you to review concepts in a self-graded, untimed, low-pressure environment. So it's just really similar to flashcards that you would make and create and study yourself. Let's just choose the Optimize Exam Experience. Just so I can show you what that screen looks like, you could have it randomly select 50 questions, 25, you type in a number here out of, and it tells you 307 items. You can select from test objectives if there's a particular element that you have a really hard time understanding and you just want practice with that one test objective. You can choose that from here. I'm just going to choose 3 questions from the overview section. You can also select from these item types, single answer multiple choice or multiple answer multiple choice, or items containing keywords, and so on and so forth. So a lot of options down here for you to customize your practice exam. Once you have everything selected and filled out at the very bottom of your screen, and mine's a little bit cut off here, let me move that up, go ahead and choose Start. And there's my first question, standard multiple choice. And the question asks here, how does an object relational database management system differ from a relational database management system? And I'm just going to pick an answer at random here. And you can choose the option grade item. And the practice exam will then highlight the correct answer and give you an explanation for it below. To move on to the next question or the next item in your exam, click on Next Item, and then start choosing answers again. Grade item, see that one I got wrong, and see it highlights the correct answer and gives you an explanation. If at any time you want to end an exam, all you've got to do is click End Exam, and yes. And at the end, it will show you statistics based on that test exam. Your answered, unanswered, correct, and incorrect. At which point you can then review your answers, look at your exam history, email your score to someone if you like, or, of course, exit the exam. And that is your Transcender exam application. In this video, we covered what you'll need to get started before registering your Transcender product. We covered how to set up your very own account, how to redeem your registration code, and how to install and load the application and files.